Hello, and welcome to XP Waste, where we have exactly 69% favor in all 5 Korend houses, and you have no way to check that. My name's Oxie.
And I'm Michael.
Hi.
I love that. How's it going, everybody?
Good. It only took 7 times to get that intro right. It's fine.
We're getting better every time. We're getting better every time.
We're so good at this. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about quests.
Indeed we are.
Get right into it.
We're just going to get right into it. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I could ask you how your day was.
Yeah, we could. It's warm. I sat outside. I didn't get any quest points for it. But yeah,
it was cold and rainy here.
Cold how? Define cold.
Like, don't want to go outside.
Okay, well, I suppose that's cold enough. It's been, I think the low today was 45. That's like beach weather by me. So I'm all for it. I mean, the high was still in like the mid 60s, which is alarming for March, but we still have 1 or 2 more snows before we like actually say spring is here.
Wasn't it like 3 days ago? It was first day of spring officially?
Yeah, but it's a bit of a loose term in Michigan. First day of spring still means snow for a little while, depending on where you're at. So
bipolar weather.
Yeah, it's great. Ha! Get it? Because it's 2 poles. Ha! Like the planet, not the. Anyways,
I did want to thank everybody for listening and watching. We've got kind of a mixed crowd when it comes to, people who are watching on YouTube and people who are listening. So if you are listening on your favorite listening pot, if you are listening on your
favorite listening pot,
if you are listening, I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
If you're listening on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music,
Google.
Is that a thing? Yeah. What else do you listen to podcasts?
Not for podcasts. Spotify, Google. There's one that's called Breaker. I don't know. We have somebody listening on a website called Outcast, Pocket Cast. I can't remember.
Wow.
But we want to thank everybody. And if you can, leave us a rating, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We appreciate it.
And then also don't forget to hit that like button and turn the notification bell on if you're watching us on YouTube. Okay. Be right back. I'm gonna go
self-promo out of the way.
I'm gonna go bleach my mouth and then we'll talk about our quest points.
So, quests.
Yeah,
yes.
Quests. Now it's time for main title content. For real.
So I have the quest cape. Besides, well, I did have the quest cape. I still haven't done one of the quests that came out last year. I'm looking at it right now. It's called Getting Ahead. Is it any good?
I mean, it's not as fun as you'd think, wink, but it's not bad. It's fine as far as like, it's meant to be like a really short, low requirement filler quest for Zaya. So it does that, and that's fine. That's needed when you're trying to tell a big story. That filler material is pretty important. Because it'll come back later. Hopefully, if you're writing the story well, it'll come back later and it will actually be like really well done. So I'm kind of hoping that that's kind of where that ends up, but I guess we'll see. I love quests. I actually dropped the ball on Getting Ahead when it first came out because it came out like 2 weeks after League started. So I was like still in the thick of Trailblazer, like making YouTube videos, grinding relics and all that. So like my first priority wasn't to go back and do this like stupid low requirement quest, but it came back to bite me in the ass later because while I was making my Trailblazer videos, there's one of the videos when I do Theater of Blood, I have my like main game character who's like spectating, be like, hold on, wait a minute. At the time, my fashion scape was my quest cape, and I went to go put my fashion scape on to record the green screen, and I couldn't wear it. I was like, are you kidding me? It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, I'm not going to do the quest right now. So the video has like most of my fashion scape with just like my bare shoulders. And it drives me nuts because I know that's not the full whatever, but
yeah.
So I dropped the ball on Getting Ahead, but I did eventually finish it once I got burnt out of Trailblazer, and I liked it. I think, like I said, filler quest for hopefully a really good quest story.
Speaking of quest cape, I found it to be very obsolete once I got a fairy ring in my house. I haven't had a need for it.
Yeah, its functionality really diminishes once you get the fairy ring. And I actually found that in between the quest cape and the music cape, when you get the fairy ring, there's nothing you can do with it. I wore it for Fashionscape a lot, but now that I have the music cape, I've got the quest cape in my house and I have the music cape in my bank,
Mhm.
and I wear the music cape for Fashionscape.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
Uh,
noticed that.
I've actually worn it, I think, in both of the ads that I've made. Because that's all
Nice.
recorded just from like my like detached camera or whatever. So I think I'm wearing the cape in both of them, and I use that for master clues to get to Phalo. So
Nice.
yeah, I think I don't know. The music cape is nice, but the quest cape is definitely good if you don't have a fairy ring. If you're an Iron Man, if you're a lower level player, if you're a poorer player who can't afford the fairy ring or
Mhm.
afford the construction level that is. So
Yeah.
plus it just looks cool. I don't know. I like it.
It's one of my favorite emotes.
Yeah, it's pretty
Straight up.
cool. The lightning going up in the sky, and
Yeah.
it's something I think you really got to work for because the quests in
Mhm.
RuneScape, like, they're difficult for a lot of different reasons. Like
Mhm.
a quest like Song of the Elves or Monkey Madness 2, they're hard quests. Like they're
They are.
Grandmaster, they're difficult quests. But then you have other quests like, the first one that's coming to my mind just because I recently watched the Jimmy video about it is Rat Catchers, where it's just like, God, this is just, it's terrible. You've got the stupid maze, you've got the stupid dialogue. Then you've got other quests like Rag and Bone Man 2, which just like
Oh.
is meant to be cool because it takes you all over Gillinor, but like when you're level 107 and you're just trying to like run through this last quest because like the last one you need, it's just boring. And then some of the other ones are a lot of dialogue, which I'm a hoe for good quest dialogue in RuneScape. I actually in our clan Discord I have the role of lore master because
Mhm.
I know too much about this game and its quests. Watch me get something wrong and someone's gonna be in the comments like, actually, that's not how that goes. Parend is actually 5 kingdoms and not 5. I don't know.
Wasn't Rag and Bone Man 2 a mini quest?
No,
Or isn't there a mini quest that you have to do to get the quest cape though? I don't know. There was something back when I got my quest cape that really pissed me off that is like it's not actually a quest, but you need it for the quest cape.
you might need Alfred Grimhand's bar crawl. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the actual quest list right
Mhm.
now. You might need the bar crawl. Um, but I think most of the mini quests actually come after other quests. Like the ones I'm thinking of, let me see, Family Pest, that comes after Family Crest. General Shadow, I think that comes after Fight Arena, maybe. Um, Architectural Alliance, you'll kind of get along the way. And then, you've got stuff like Lair of Tar and Razor lore that comes after Haunted Mine. And
I did
then
some research.
my personal favorite, Curse of the Empty Lord, which comes after Desert Treasure. I love that quest. And it is the most like space barred quests in the game because you don't do anything. You don't fight any bosses. You literally, it's the two probably most hated elements that RuneScape players have about quests. It is going all over the place, running across the continent, and then just talking. There's nothing engaging if you just are holding the spacebar about this quest.
Yep.
I didn't. I read the whole thing. I'm like,
Oh god.
I just did all this work to get this ancient magic thing. I burned these logs. I did the shadow thing. I got the magic XP. I can't cast any of the cool ice spells, and I'm not a PKer. So, like, okay, guess we'll do this mini quest for like, I don't even remember what the reward was. And I read the whole thing,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad that I did, because I've had a blast with doing some of these quests multiple
Mhm.
times in some cases. So,
I think that's one great thing about Jimmy's series is like he takes all of the dialogue and all of the lore and makes it interesting
mhm.
when it comes to these quests. And I know that you're caught up on a series, but I'm not, and I need to catch up. Cause like, I mean, I love quests in RuneScape and I love the lore. One really interesting thing about RuneScape 3 is they hired voice actors for most of the like most of the written dialogue,
Mhm.
which I would love that if they did that for old school. I would listen to everything and
Mhm.
like actually pay attention during quests. But I'm a spacebar kind of guy when it comes to quest dialogue.
I don't know if I would mind the audio stuff, because I know it's not for every quest, like the full audio. I know it's some
Hmm.
like for the bigger ones, like I think Dragon Slayer, they probably have one.
Hmm.
But I don't know what the big ones from RS3 are. I didn't do a lot of quests in RS3
Hmm.
or even RS2 because like I was a kid. I was, in addition to being bad at the game, also stupid and didn't like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't know for the longest time what was new to old school and what was part of RS2. Uh, I didn't even know how to get ancient magics when I was a kid. I just would
I
think
don't.
it's so cool when I got covered in a block of ice at Castle Wars. I didn't know how to do it. I physically did not know that that was a quest locked content. So I have no connection to anything in RS3, but I've heard quests like While Gothic Sleeps, Summer's End, things like that that are like really good RS3 quests. Like maybe they do well in old school, but I know they've taken content different directions.
Yeah.
People have I've heard a big complaint with Song of the Elves from the RS3 community is that they've completely retconned the elf storyline from RS3. They're like, "Oh, you've totally changed it. It's totally different." If you actually go to the Song of the Elves wiki page, there's like a whole section on the bottom of like how Song of the Elves is different from the grand finale in RS3.
Huh.
Because like, are we fine to talk about quest spoilers here? Does anyone here listening actually care about quests as much as I do? That, like, if I
Oh,
spoil Song of the Elves, are you going to be upset or
I don't think we should do spoilers.
fine? All right, no spoilers, but a lot of things are different. And my response to hearing that like the retconned RS3 was like, did we though? Because
It's a different game.
it's a different game. Like it's a totally different storyline. And a
Hmm.
lot of you see that a lot of places. Like we have a lot of cool sequels that RS3 doesn't. Like I don't think RS3 has Dragon Slayer 2. If
That's
RS3
neat.
has a Monkey Madness sequel, it's definitely not the same as ours. Because a lot of my RS3 friends are like, hold on, you can go to Apatola as a person? I'm like, yeah, I do it all the time. They're like, that's fucking bullshit. I want to go there as a person. I got a max cape and I still got to carry this stupid Gree with me, But I really enjoy quests. Can't wait for them to add. I think the new one, A Kingdom Divided, is coming
Is
hopefully
that
in a few months. Like
is
they
that a Zaya
just
quest?
yeah, it's the first like high level Zaya quest that they've released.
Nice.
Which I'm
Like a
stoked about
master
cuz
level?
I would think so, yeah, cuz all the other ones have been like really small like Ascent of Arceus, Queen of Thieves, like
Hmm.
smaller like medium level quests and then tiny stuff like getting ahead and Client of Corrend and things like that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, just to kinda introduce you to the
yeah.
landscape.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been rambling about quests a lot for the
You're
past
good, man.
like 10 minutes. I don't know.
I do have a callback from earlier 'cause, I looked it up,
Hmm.
and when in 2017, pre-2017,
Yeah.
Rag& and Bone Man 2 was a mini quest called Rag& and Bone Man Wishlist. Oh, sorry, Rag& and Bone Wishlist. And it was required for for the quest cape.
Huh.
But it got changed in 2017 to an actual quest
Huh.
so that people like me would stop complaining that you have to have a mini quest to get your quest cape.
Hmm.
That it became an actual quest, Rag& and Bone Man 2.
Do you have all the mini quests done?
No. Um, I'm looking at my character right now. The I started Enchanted Key, and
What?
I've not done the General Shadow or In Search of Knowledge.
Yeah, I've done all of them. I just when I was getting my quest cape last, God, when it was, would it have been summer 20? Yeah,
Did you get
summer
it when
2020.
I knew you? Yeah, yeah.
No, it was
Right before we met.
right before we all joined the
Oh
Discord together.
yeah.
Yeah, so it would
Okay.
have been because
Okay.
I actually got the quest cape on my birthday. I
Oh, nice.
I did I think I've told it before on the podcast that I did the 3 Grandmaster quests, Monkey Madness 2, Dragon Slayer 2, and Song of the Elves. Um back to back to back. And then about an hour into my birthday, I finished Song of the Elves because I was in the light puzzle room at midnight, and I'm like,
Oh
there's
gosh.
no way we're finishing this quest by or no, I was in the light puzzle room an hour before my birthday, and I was looking at what I had left. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. I don't even know
There's
how to
no
fight
way.
Seren. I gotta watch some video guides. So like at about 1 a.m. on my birthday, I got the quest cape, and the people who were in my stream were like, holy shit, is it your birthday today? I'm like, "Mm, it's a birthday gift to me." But
Nice.
yeah, I
So,
was
Song of the Elves was your last quest before the
Song of
quest
the
cape?
Elves was my last quest to actually go to the wise old man and earn the quest
And
cape.
get it.
I did
Yeah.
all three back to back to back. I asked my Discord, like, all right, what do you want to see next? Your options are monkeys or dragons. And they're like, monkey, that's a meme. And then I'm like, dragons or elves. They're like, oh, dragons sound really cool. I'm like, elves it is then, I
You
think.
wanna know a fun fact about me?
Yeah, hit me.
So, when I got my quest cape, the very last quest, again, before you had to go to Wise Old Man and actually get it,
Hmm.
the last quest that I had to do was a monk's friend because it ends in a party. So I had a
That's
party
awesome.
for my quest cape.
Oh, that's so cool, dude.
It's such an easy quest too, and I was like, I'm gonna save that one for last because
Nice.
you have like balloons and dancing and stuff. So yeah, if you ever want to have a party for your last quest before you get the quest cape, save a monk's friend because it's very easy. It would take you literally like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, you like walk back and forth twice. You like
Yeah.
find a drunk monk, give him water, and throw a birthday party for a kid or something.
Yep.
It was if you played leagues, it was why there was always balloons at the Ardoyan monastery. If you had last recall, you'd last recall or you'd go to the monastery before you last recalled. Everyone
Yep.
was throwing a party. It seemed like
Yep.
there was I don't want to say there were bots in leagues, but like there was a bot
Hey,
there
dude,
just
you never
like
know.
just doing Mug's friend over and over and over again. So there was always
Yeah.
balloons when you went back. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So yeah, I think leagues made that quest a special place in my heart.
Oh,
But like,
it has a
yeah.
special place in my heart too.
Oh my god. We
If
love
I ever
Monk's
make another
friend.
account, I'll finish Monk's Friend last again because it's so
Can
much fun.
can we get a Monk's friend too?
A
Monk's friend
Monk's
2,
Friend
Monk's
2.
enemy.
Monks. Ooh,
The whole thing.
frenemies.
The whole thing just ends at another party at the monastery.
But this time it's bigger.
Yeah, it's great. It's Grandmaster. It's like a 5-hour
Ooh.
quest, couple bosses, just to
What
have
if
another party at the monastery.
what if you had a party at the Edgeville Monastery? That's where it could end.
You have to have
'Cause
parties
soon
in
as you
every monastery. That's the point. You have to get lit with all the holy
the
men, with all the holy men of RuneScape, including like the Chaos Temple, like that one dude who's sitting out there in the middle of the wilderness. He's like, nobody ever
Oh
wants to
gosh.
celebrate my birthday, and you have to fight like a giant 5-headed demon to have this guy's birthday party. It's like Zulrah and Galvek had a child, and this quest boss child is what you need to finish Monk's Friend 2, just to get fucked up with some priests in the
That's
deep wild.
hilarious.
I would, oh my god, that'd be so fun. So
We should write
stupid and
quests.
so fun. I would love to write quests. I would do so many God Wars lore based quests. I
That'd be
think
cool.
like Juna has a really cool background, I think. Because I
Ooh.
don't know. I mean, I could be mistaken, but she's been around for a really long time. Juna's the snake
Mhm.
outside Tears of Cuthix. Um, that'd be a really cool quest line. I'd like to expand like how Bandos and Armadil got involved with the God
Mhm.
Wars, because if you think about the major players, like the major gods, like Seren stayed out of it. She's like, fuck these kids. We're gonna go sit in our crystal city. Um Guthix was like, shut up. I'm gonna make
Go
this
to sleep.
line. You see this line? It's called the edicts. You can't cross this line. All you up there, boom, now you're frozen in this dungeon. It's gonna be content I'm gonna save for 2008, you know. uh And then you've got Zamrock and Saradomin and Zaros that you learn from, like Desert Treasure. So like you have background to some of the major players. But other than like brief mentionings from the goblins of like the Big High War God,
Mhm.
and I think it's one quest. It's like Temple of Ikov.
Mhm.
They like briefly talk about followers of Armadillo. That's it.
Hmm.
I'd like a little bit more knowledge of like, you know, we're still fighting to find Armadillo's crossbow. It's been 3,000 years, you know, like have
Yeah.
someone have a God Wars dungeon style quest. Not in the
Be
actual dungeon
cool.
itself. Don't make the dungeon quest locked. But like it's already kind of quest locked. But like I think having a quest like, hey, I'm a soldier of Armadillo and I just got thought out. Where's this crossbow? Because like those were my last orders.
Oh.
Is like I have to find this crossbow, and then Sarah Dome and Sons bitches they stole it, and we got to get it back. And you're gonna be like, I hate to break this to you. You've been pretty much like, hey, you're finally awake. You've been asleep for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
would be really cool. I love the God Wars lore. On this
I
episode
think
of Oxie rambles about RuneScape things.
he's the lore master for a reason.
So cool. I love it.
Is there any other resources people can look up for like without having to do the quests to find a lot of the lore?
Yeah, so actually you can go on the wiki and like type in any quest, right? Like you can
Mhm.
type in Dragon Slayer 2 and you'll click on Galvek and you'll be sent to Galvek's page and like you'll see the strategy guide of how to fight Galvek. Galvek is the final boss, which like you're introduced to in the first 2 minutes of Dragon Slayer 2.
Mhm.
Um so you'll learn about Galvek. And then they also have like information about the dragon, like where Galvek came from, who created Galvek. Then you can click on Galvek and be like, oh, this is who created him. And you'll learn that background, and then you'll learn background of other supporting characters like Robert the Strong. So like if you do a little bit of super nerdy digging on the wiki, there's a page for pretty much everything
Yeah.
involved. And you're like, oh, so Robert the Strong fought the Dragonkin in this Dragonkin. But who are the Dragonkin? Why are
Right.
they? Oh, okay. That's why they can't reproduce because evolution hates them, apparently. So that's why they're trying to get this immortal life thing down. But yeah,
I don't remember a single thing from that quest. Zoned out. Or somebody else did it for me. I can't
you
remember.
zoned out in the Avengers Endgame of RuneScape quests.
Then somebody else had to do it for me.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
I
That
think
quest is
literally I think I did Dragon Slayer 1, obviously.
God,
That
that
kind of
quest.
segues into the second thing I wanted to talk about was like, do you remember any like quest experiences you had? Because we briefly talked about it, but do you remember any like as a kid, any of your favorite quests?
Dragon Slayer was very stressful. I
Hmm.
never died to Elvarg, but I thought I was going to. And finishing Dragon Slayer, finishing Dragon Slayer was cool. And then coming to school the next day and telling my friends that, like, guess who can wear a rune plate body, bitches? Like, that was cool.
Yeah,
Cause that
yeah.
was like the biggest flex I had. Cause all the other things that people were doing at the time, earning their fighter torso, unlocking ancient magics, you know, doing Legends Quest, doing this cool mini game called Barrows, having the balls to go to God Wars. I wasn't doing any of that because I
Yeah, me
was
neither.
bad at the game. So
Same.
like earning a rune plate body was huge for me. So that was probably the most fun one that I did as a kid, I would say. I mean, obviously I've done all the free to play quests other than like Mistal and Mystery, you
Right.
know,
All the
and
new
like
ones.
yeah, all the new ones. I've done all
Pre
those
old
a
school.
ton, all the free to play ones. But yeah, Dragon Slayer was probably the biggest one as a kid.
I remember doing Dragon Slayer. I died to Elvarg because I think I tried to melee, but then I went back with magic.
Oh, I
Eh,
meleeed her. I
did you really?
slapped her with my full adamant and probably like wrist shaking the whole time.
I brought lobsters. I remember that. Um, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I used to use this website called Rune HQ
Yup.
as for my quest guides.
Yup.
That's a throwback.
The step by step
Because
images
the,
they used to have screenshots of everything
mhm,
up on the website. Yup.
the wiki was not a thing.
No.
Like our wiki was Rune HQ. I think was there another prominent website?
I'm sure there was, but I only used Rune HQ.
Yeah, same. Uh, I did all the free to play quests, at least on my original RuneScape account. And then I do remember doing Monkey Badness and actually paying the 200K to skip the puzzle. So, because I was not about light puzzle or like slidey puzzles at that time. Um, Let me think. Any other quests that I remember? I mean, those were the big ones. Dragon Slayer was huge. Monkey Madness was huge. I never did any of the elf line, like mornings end. Never did any of
Yeah,
those.
I think I thought they were cool as a kid. I remember looking at some of the quests as a kid and being like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh wow, there's Morning's End 1 and 2. Oh my god, it must be
Well,
awesome that there's two of them." Big mistake. Big mistake.
not very
But
cool.
it's like not even like I didn't even dislike Morning's End because of the light puzzle because I had minimal trouble with the agility. Um, it just took a long time. Took me like 3 hours to get through it, even with like minimal failures, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
tedious.
Very tedious. I will say there's one thing that makes questing so much better in RuneScape, and that's Slayer music. Did you ever?
Not a
I mean, you're the
single.
reader.
I watched Slayer music one time, and that
Mm.
was so I could visually see the Seren fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My other 100 odd quests, I did not watch a single Slayer music guide. I was eyes locked on the wiki. I have it open on my other page, my other
Yeah.
monitor here. I read everything.
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't have the patience to sit through a 45-minute guide or a 45-minute video. I don't know
Mm.
why. People are like, "This man saved my life." I'm like, "Good for you." And
That's me.
like he's got it's good content.
Very
He
good.
doesn't tell you I don't know. I'm just not someone who gained anything from watching. Like I had to read how to do it. So, but yeah, Slayer music. I didn't watch him at all, but I know people have sworn by him.
He definitely got me my quest cape. Um, I did most of the quests in the beginning, like the easier quests with the wiki, because
Hmm.
it's easy. You're just reading it, takes like 10 minutes. But I started doing this thing where I would I would have some time in my day, and I would judge if I was going to be able to do that quest based on how long his video was. So if it was like a 22-minute video, I'm like, yeah, I can knock that out. Give or take about 10 minutes for
Hmm.
like prep and having to pause. So like and for those who don't know, Slayer Music is on YouTube. He's a content creator who strictly makes he has other series and stuff, but like his main content is quest guides. And the thing that people love about his quest guides is that he doesn't fast forward or do any cuts. He has it all prepared beforehand so that if the quest guide video is about 22 minutes, like I said earlier, it's going to take you, give or take, 5 minutes of that. So it's really easy to kind of judge how long it's going to take, and he does it with you fresh on that account that he's playing. So if he's fighting the boss, he just leaves it running, and he'll put a little timestamp in there that tells you like finish fighting at such and such time, so that if you end up doing it first, you can skip it. But I don't know. I found that to be in a game that's heavily single player when it comes to quests, it kind of felt like you're playing it multiplayer. You know what I mean? Like you had a friend with you that was
Hmm.
doing the quest with you. And I think looking back, that was kind of the fun that I had with that. Because like I said, I don't read the dialogue and stuff. So like him just being able to tell you, we're gonna choose option one. Now choose option two. Like if I had a friend with me, that's probably how I would want to structure the quest. Like, okay, now we're gonna press option one now,
Uh
press
huh.
option two to skip through it. And then you go back and you watch things like Jimmy to give you all the lore and the
Uh
and the
huh.
behind the reasons why. But I don't know, Slayer Music. He did it for me. And I got my
Yeah.
quest cape with him.
I would say, having not watched a single Slayer music guide, I think being able to visually see Seren, Galvek, Vanstrom,
Hmm.
uh, anything that are like difficult quest boss, even like Gluff, being able to watch those big fights,
Mhm.
really helpful before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when, the monster like rears up, you're like, it's like you're back in the fight caves panicking, trying to press every prayer at the same time when that's just their like starting animation or something like that. Um,
Yep.
yeah, so Slayer music definitely really helpful if you guys don't. But I feel like everyone, like if you know RuneScape, Slayer music is one of the like S tier like everybody knows who Slayer
Yeah.
music is for the quest guides, I
Yeah.
feel like. But
Nobody dislikes him. Even if you're like yourself, Oxy, even if
yeah, no, I don't
you're not
dislike him. I just
into
don't
it,
watch
yeah,
his content.
you don't dislike him.
Yeah,
There's
no,
another
it's
girl that I watched a while back. Her name is Snuggle Quest. My wife played RuneScape briefly, and she did Gertrude's cat, and she did it with Snuggle Quest's guide, and I thought it was really cute. But the thing that really sets Slayer music apart from anybody is he doesn't cut. So her guide had a lot of cuts in it. So it's like you having to pause the guide to catch up,
mhm.
which kind of took the whole immersion. It took the immersion away from me.
You bring up an interesting point. It felt like you were playing RuneScape multiplayer for quests. Like obviously this is a multiplayer game, but the quests I can think of one, at
Two.
least two, maybe one more
Mm-hmm.
that are multiplayer, and that is Shield of
Mm-hmm.
Arav and Heroes Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I hate having to rely on another person for those two quests. I did every single quest in Leagues 2 that was available in my region except Heroes Quest
Oh my gosh.
because I just CBA to find somebody else. So, which is baffling to me because if you take another game, like, I guess it's not really a quest, but it's a mission. And if you think about
Mm-hmm.
it like that, you have like various missions and regions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a game like Halo, and you stick two people at the last mission of Halo 3, if I'm playing that with my friend, that's so much more exciting than playing it by myself. Even if it is fun on my own, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it for the first time, it's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun to experience it with another person. We played, when I was in high school, I remember playing Halo Reach with one of my friends for the very first time. And there's a particular mission where like you destroy a covenant structure and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And then immediately, boom, a plasma beam rains down and destroys that ship. And your character's looking like, what just happened? And my friend and I were like, what was that? And it was so cool to be with another person. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like
In RuneScape, it's different.
yeah, I don't know. Like all the stories are so like single player driven that like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we're having a super secret meeting. It's Vela from the Marique, Saphilan, the blue-eyed weirdo, Venescula, the vampire that we definitely shouldn't trust, me, and this guy I met in the Sears Village Bank. One of these things is not like the other, and I feel like having the multiplayer element to a lot of the RuneScape stories would be just weird. And maybe it's because I hate Shield of Arav that I have a bad
Yes.
taste in my mouth for multiplayer
It's
quests,
a silly
but
quest.
I
I'm
don't
glad
know.
that they used that content later. Like if you had to go through all that trouble to just like have it go nowhere, it kind of would feel stupid.
I hate
But they
that they
used
use
it
that
in
content.
here.
I
You
hate that
what?
they
Oh, you
use
hate
that
that they
content
used it.
later.
Oh my
I
god.
hate that they use that content later.
Just wanted to die.
Well, like when I did Heroes Quest, I had to do Shield of Arav on my main, and then I did it with a guy I knew from stream, and then months later I had to hit that same guy up and be
That's what
like,
I'm saying,
what are the
dude.
chances that you've done or that you haven't done Heroes Quest? He's like, actually, no, I haven't. I'm like, do you want to come to Karamja and help me with this stupid thing so I can just get my Barrows gloves? He's like, yeah, sure. I had to do the quest anyway. I'm like, awesome.
This is what I'm telling you. Like imagine you what if he hadn't done it?
I didn't have any
Fates
friends. I didn't
Fates
have any
wouldn't have
friends back
aligned.
then.
Hey,
I didn't
there's a
have a
clan chat.
that. Okay, I'm socially awkward. I didn't talk to any of you guys in VC for months
That's
when I
true.
knew you guys.
That's true.
I went from like April to August to having like no one hear my voice because I'm like, I'm not gonna get into VC. That's so stressful. And then now we're making a podcast. So like hitting up strangers on the internet to be like, hey, you want to come by my mansion on my jungle island and, reach around some corners or whatever the Black Arm Gang does? I don't know. No. I hate that. So I didn't have any friends and I don't like that part of
It's
it.
good.
I'm
At
real
least you did it
awkward.
then. You got
Yeah.
it done.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to your point of enjoying multiplayer quests, when Leagues 2 came around and we all looked at that taskbar and we're like, ah, shit, Shield of Varov is a quest. There
Mhm.
was like 4 or 6 of us doing it together. And we like paired off and we're like, all right, Black Arm Phoenix, Black Arm Phoenix, Black Arm
Mhm.
Phoenix. And we all did the quest at the same time on the same world, running past each other to get in the hideouts and shit.
Mhm.
So like that was a little bit more enjoyable, I guess, if you know someone. But so I suppose there's potential for multiplayer quests in RuneScape. This is a reach. Someone's gonna hear this and be like, oh god, multiplayer quests? Ah. I suppose there is potential for some sort of cooperative quest in RuneScape, as long as the content is interesting. 'Cause-
I think you would have to be able to do it multiple times for it to work. Because the beauty of Shield of Arov is it's such an easy quest. You could make an alt and get it done. Like there's really
Uh-huh.
no huge requirements. But like if they had a master quest or a grandmaster quest that you needed a buddy for, it would have to be something that you could just keep doing over and over. Because
Mm-hmm.
that would be terrible to be the lowest level person in your whole friends group and you're the last person to do it and you just can't find somebody. I would cry.
That would be stressful, but like think about how awesome it would be to have to duo a quest boss.
That would be
Because they
sick.
have a lot of really cool boss mechanics in the game.
Mhm.
Everything from quest bosses that already exist to bosses that randomly switch attacks like Jad and Zulrah to bosses that
Mhm.
spawn environmental things like Verzik or the Hunlith. If you add all those mechanics in, but it's like the final battle, it's like the ultimate climax of this conflict that you and your friends have been pushing through this Grandmaster quest together, you
Mhm.
know, and you have to duo this boss, that'd be so cool. Like if you have the option to fight it at the same time, oh, that'd be so
That'd be
awesome.
sick. No, that would
That'd
be
be
cool.
so
Like
awesome.
if you were in a clan chat together or something, and
Hmm.
you happen to get to the person at the same time, and he's like, "Hey, is this your friend?" Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
get in there, soldier.
Or like you have to plan it, like you have to find a partner for it and you do the I don't know. Again, it seems really difficult. It seems like something that would require the reworked clan system or the reworked
Yeah.
group Iron Man or the existing group
Oh,
Iron Man when it ever comes out in 40 years.
I just had an epiphany.
There's potential, but I don't think it's like the first thing that I would want for a RuneScape quest.
It'd be cool if they had versions of quests that were reworked to
Mhm.
fit within Group Iron Man.
Mhm.
On like you had to, I don't know, this is spitballing, but like for Cook's assistant, like one person was tasked with the egg and one person was tasked with the milk. And if you went to go get the milk, he's like, I didn't tell you to get the milk. You're the egg guy.
Cook's
Like
assistant
yeah,
done in 37 seconds.
yeah. You all come back and just hand him your ingredients.
I'm just picturing like me and the boys rolling up to Elvarg and being like, "This is for my dead account in 2005, you big green bitch," and we're all just like wailing on her
Crack.
together, because we brought 4 people. Like, I don't know.
Well, what if they scaled him up? Like, what if Elvar got harder? Like,
Yeah,
it was a
it's just void
scaled.
death. They did. They just
Yeah, no,
replaced them, huh?
it's Olm. You have to kill Olm.
Every quest boss is either Olm or Versik. You go to fight the dog in Priest in Peril, Verzik Vitur, right there. Get
Because there's 4 of you, it has to be harder.
oh yeah.
You have to learn TOB mechanics to do like basic level
Oh,
quests.
level 13. Like, I don't know. I
Ooh.
think there's a lot of quests that I would like to see expanded, and I'm like, we kind of talked about this before we started recording of like, there are quests we know they're working on, like,
Mhm.
obviously the Karen storyline, um, the Marique storyline. I think we have the penultimate quest with Sins of the Father, and now we kind of need the big finale, you know. I think in RuneScape 3 it's called the Lord of Vampirium or something. Uh but like I would like to see, I know we talked earlier, like Slug Menace has a lot of potential for a
Hmm.
sequel. Um they've wrapped up a lot of the old quest lines, which is pretty
They have.
cool. But like Devious Minds is another one that comes to mind. I think that had like the shortest dev time of any quest. And the
Hmm.
guy who made it like immediately left. Um,
Isn't that cool
so
though? Like if you just get a job at Jagex and then you make a quest and go.
yeah, you make a quest
That'd
that's
be,
like kind of a sequel to Wanted, which is a pretty cool quest,
yeah.
and then leave it on this big cliffhanger for 17 years. I don't know.
Did I ask you what your favorite quest was? Do you have a
I
favorite?
uh I have lots of favorites. My default though is Plague City.
Okay.
Plague City and Biohazard together, I think, are my two favorites. Like if I could
Nice.
group one, there's a lot of awesome quests. Like there's a lot of cool moments in quests that make them memorable. Like I said, Curse of the Empty Lord, that Avengers Endgame moment in Dragon Slayer 2, you know, even Recipe for Disaster when like, you know, everything goes awry. Like it's all really cool. But
Hmm.
I think Plague City and Biohazard have like one of the best stories. Um, because you're dealing with this life-threatening plague. You're faking your way through all these people who are like definitely shady government agents. Like you don't know what's going on. You have to break this girl out. Then you have to smuggle illegal substances across the continent. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
like, spoiler alert, there is no plague. Like, you know, I don't know if my mic was able to pick that up.
I
I
don't think
hope
it
it
picked it
was.
up. Do it again. Do it again.
There is no plague, you know. And like that is a little spoilery, but the quest came out in 2004, so like,
No
you know,
excuses.
like when I first played that quest, I wasn't spoiled for it. I didn't know. So when I finished
Hmm.
Biohazard, you know me reading the quest dialogue like an idiot. He's like, "This doesn't like this. That's just it. There is no plague." I was like, "What? I've been lied to since I was a child." Like I
That
didn't
dirty
know there.
king.
I don't know. I think that's a really cool way to write a story,
Yeah.
and the RuneScape devs do a pretty good job of my favorite thing in storytelling, which is taking your damn time to tell a story.
Hmm.
I don't love waiting years for quests, but you know, the difference in time between A Taste of Hope and Sins of the Father was long enough to flesh the story out without it feeling rushed or without it feeling like Morning's End 2 Song of the Elves. You know,
Hmm.
granted they were made in
Right.
different games, but whatever.
Right.
So I think Jagex does a really good job. Their development team does a really good job of taking their time to tell a story in a way that's engaging.
Hmm.
Almost in like that Avengers style where like it takes 10 years to get to the awesome end, but man is the end really good.
You got there.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they've done a really good job with that and I hope they continue. I'm really excited for the Current line because I'm hoping it's going to have that same like, oh, good.
Can you imagine a final boss somewhere in Korend?
Somewhere
Like
in
apart from
Valamore?
raids?
Somewhere in Valamore? Hmm? That
I don't
little
know where that's
place that's
at.
like it's south of Zaya. It's
Is it
the
an island?
no, it's like a continental expansion. Like if you go south of Raidsbank, there's like a sign or something. It says like under construction or something like that. Ask
Oh,
Scape about it. He's stoked for Valamore or Varlam or whatever. Whenever it comes out, it's gonna be huge,
cool.
and it's
Cool,
probably
cool,
gonna be
cool.
related to the quest.
Nice. Real quick, my favorite quest probably was like My Arm's Big Adventure, and then the sequel,
Yep,
Making Friends with My Arm, because it's got
yep.
like Mod Ash made it. It's a really fun quest,
Those were a lot of
and
fun.
it unlocks a really good herb patch. So
I don't ever do herb runs, but yeah,
need your herb runs, Oxy.
never. I
Do it. Well, cool. I think that's a great place to wrap this up.
That is a good place to
Um,
wrap it up. We've been talking for a long time about quests. I apologize. We've been talking
Never
a
apologize.
lot me specifically a lot about how much I like quests. Go
That's
do
why
your
we have you.
quests. They're so
Go to
much
your quests.
fun.
Yes.
Everyone, go do them.
Up next, we have a very special segment. I would venture to say the most exciting segment we've had, and it's an interview. Our first interview. I'm not going to give any spoilers unless you already read the title. But yeah, we know you're going to love it. So we'll be back after the interview with the fun segment. Hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome back. So today we have a very special guest with us. He is a up and coming streamer who's making waves in the OSRs community. He is an Iron Man with over 2K total and is the self-proclaimed deepest voice on Twitch, affectionately known as the Walmart Darth Vader. Everyone give it up for MATTHISGG. How are you?
I am your father. Oh, sorry. I forgot I had the voice mod on, you know?
Yeah. Go take it off now.
Oh, God. It's such a pleasure to be here. No, thank you, Michael.
so much,
For inviting me to come into
Yeah.
the podcast. I appreciate it a lot. I feel honored to
You're
be
our
the
first
first guest. Yeah.
I was gonna say you're a first guest.
Yeah, I feel
So-
honored, man. It's good. It's a good feeling. I'm looking forward to this little back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
So this is my first interview, and I don't know if you've done any interviews. So bear with us if this is a little cringe or awkward in the beginning, but we'll get through it.
I mean, I have a job, so I've gone through some interviews,
Dude,
at least
I
at some
hate
point.
interviews. I
Yeah,
hate
dude,
interviewing for jobs.
I
I get so
you can
nervous.
prepare so much, but I feel like
Mhm.
preparing actually makes it worse. Like over preparing can
Yeah.
definitely make it harder. So that's
Yeah,
why I
we're
did
not, like-
absolutely nothing to prepare for this.
No preparation. So the first thing I wanted to kind of dive into was obviously this is like a RuneScape podcast.
yeah, for sure.
With a little bit of like other things sprinkled in. But I'm curious, what is your like history with like RuneScape as the game? Not necessarily old school, but like if you started way back in the day,
Oh,
or
yeah.
if you started with old school.
I started actually when I think it was in grade 3 when I first got introduced to RuneScape, and I think most of us actually found it through Miniclip. That's how I initially found it, through like the top 10 games where they would like vary every week, and RuneScape was like number 1 on the charts for a while. And I'd played games like, I don't know, Bubble Trouble, which isn't an RPG or anything, but then Robot Rage or something was one of them. Like, I don't know if you remember that, if you've ever played it, but
I did not.
it was actually pretty cool. But I had a cousin who was into RuneScape at the time. He never told me about it, which I was kind of like, dude, like, why didn't you tell me about RuneScape? This game's freaking awesome. But yeah, I checked it out one day, and obviously Miniclip redirected you to the RuneScape website, and I'm like, oh, this game looks really cool. So obviously, like, I don't remember exactly the process like it was that I got into it, but I remember at the time, because I was pretty young, I think I was 9, right? Grade 3 or 9 years old, if I'm not mistaken about that.
Yeah.
I was like big into Neopets when I was a kid. And I remember when I started playing RuneScape, I was still like an avid Neopets player, so I made my account name like Bloomeru97, like my birth year. And I played for a few months. I think I played for maybe like 3 or 4 months, and then I got like PM'd in the game from like this guy who was claiming to be Jagex Police. I gave him my account login details, right? So I got hacked. I think I lost like less than 1K total. It wasn't like a big account, right? But as a kid, it was a huge deal, right?
Devastating.
Yeah, honestly, like I felt crushed. Like my soul was just taken away from me. And then I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 months afterwards, I remade. I played for a couple years and stopped playing a little bit. Got into MapleStory for a bit. Kind of played RuneScape intermittently, and by high school, I think I had completely stopped. I think that was around when EOC came out. It was like 2010, 2011.
I was gonna ask, did you stop when everybody else quit? 'Cause
Pretty much, yeah.
I quit in like 2009.
Yeah. I think it was 09 when the EOC came out. I don't even remember. It was so long ago, but yeah, it was basically like just a little bit before high school. And I didn't get back into RuneScape until, well, I did play a little bit of RS3 actually. Maybe like half a year's worth sometime in high school, or at least maybe like grade 8, grade 9. And I came back to old school when the free-to-play version came out, and I thought, okay, well, now's a good time to try this out with my friends, because we all played RuneScape growing up. Like, we used to play on the computers at my elementary school. Like, during computer time, we'd, like, sneak onto RuneScape. So we're like, okay, why not? Like, we can all just start playing for free. Myself and, like, 2 buddies were the only ones that actually bought membership. And I ended up playing way longer than they did, and I just kept playing. And then Iron Man came out. I don't remember when that was, but I remember making one and just loving the game mode. Like, Iron Man, I was like, this is the way I love to play games, is just having full, like, self-sufficiency, or being required to be fully self-sufficient. Like, you can't buy things from people, you can't, like... I was more of a solo player anyways, like, just in general. And, it kind of just really appealed to the way that I like to play. And so I actually started a video series on YouTube. This was about, like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, and it was just all Iron Man. I had quit for a little bit of time, probably about like 6 months, went back into video making for a little bit, and then just completely stopped. Like, I completely burnt out of it. I just didn't want to play RuneScape at all. And I don't remember how I found my way back. I think it was like 2 summers ago, or the summer of 2019. I was like, well, you know, I haven't played this account in a long time. I don't even know where I am anymore. Let's just make a hardcore. Right?
Oh, okay.
I don't even know why I thought I would make a hardcore. Didn't know anything about the game, really. You know, a game I had grown up with, I was just terrible at. And, you know, it's like it's like the age-old joke. It's like, oh yeah, you know, you've played this game for 15 years. You should be really good at it. It's like the crying cat. It's like, no, I'm not good at it. But... yeah, so I got back into it as a hardcore, and then, again, kind of burnt out a little bit, and then I started streaming about 7 months ago, and that kind of brought me back into the Iron Man mode. I'm actually really enjoying the game now. My account's, like, as far progressed as it's ever been, like, even further progressed than my old RS3 account was. So it's pretty cool. I'm kind of impressed with the with my ability to, like, actually progress this account now.
Did I get that intro right? Your Iron Man is over 2K total, right?
Yeah, I'm closing in on 2100 now.
Nice.
I'm pretty close,
Congrats,
yeah.
Dude. Wait, so the account that you're playing now, that was your hardcore Iron Man?
It was, yeah. I died trying to get the 1 Zara kill for the Western Province Diary. And I was like, this signals to me, hardcore is not for me, until I learn the game at least. I was like, no, I'm not. I just continued playing it because it had actually surpassed my old, like, YouTube series Iron Man. And I was like, well, I'm at a place now where I know what I'm doing on the account. Like, I know what my goals are. Let's just keep playing it. So my old Iron Man is basically just old news. Like, it's just, I don't even touch the account anymore.
Yeah, no judgment there.
Yeah.
I died on purpose on my hardcore. I was like, this isn't how I want to play the game.
I think you're the first person I've ever heard who intentionally suicided their hardcore.
I mean, I made the account just to have it have as an Iron Man. Like, it wasn't the intention to go to the end with the red helm.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was too stressful.
Yeah, you play the game differently. That's in that sense too. Like, you're so cautious with everything. You don't want to do, like, you never do hard clues because half of them are in the wilderness.
Yeah, it's just not fun.
No,
like, you can take an Iron Man into the wilderness. It's risky, but
you
don't take a hardcore into the wilderness.
No,
if you're smart.
Unless you have, like, your buddies, like 10 of them scouting and everything. Like,
Yep.
Oh yeah, all my defenses here. Like, it seems like too much effort, and then, you know, you can't afford to make mistakes at bosses and learn from those mistakes, but you can on a main account or an Iron Man, a regular Iron Man.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, at the cost of, like, maybe 100K, but, you know, at least you're learning instead of like, oh, well, I died. Well, that's the end of the account, right?
Yeah.
You have to be an established, experienced PVMer or player in general to make a hardcore, I think.
To be good at it, the end game, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Or at least maybe even content creation as well. Like, I don't know, I made a hardcore and I didn't share it with anybody. I played the game solo and I was like, why did I do this? I think I just had a drive to play the game again. So I was like, okay, why not? Like, I'll make a new Iron Man or make it a hardcore, because why not? If I die, I die. It doesn't matter.
And you have like a little time capsule too, so you can go back in the hardcore Iron Man high scores and kind of look.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's
where
that too.
Your account was at.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. I mean, I have no boss, KC, so maybe I don't want to show that to anybody, but
Yeah.
I do
So
know. I
that
do
kind of
know.
that kind of segues into the next question I had was talking about streaming, because that's how we got introduced,
Yeah,
was on
yeah.
Twitch.
Hmm.
And the most notable thing that I can remember within the last couple months was your 12 days of Christmas
Hmm.
streams, the charity streams. Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
That
do you
ran
have
my
any
bank
highlights?
dry.
Yeah, all those giveaways, dude. All those giveaways. Do you have any
Oh,
highlights?
I
Any
do
highlights from those
actually.
streams?
Some of them are, they're not really necessarily related to like um well, I guess they are related to the stream, but they're more like minute things that happen. Like there's one time someone new came in and he was part of another community that I'm a part of, or was a part of more so earlier, but he came in, he's like, hey, my baby nephew like loves Santa, and like you look like Santa, can you like give me a hearty ho 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 for him, right? It would make his day. So I did that, and then he's just like, oh dude, he loved it. I was like, that made me feel really good inside. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I know obviously that deviates from the viewer experience, but like a kid who's like, oh, Santa's on the TV, like it's cool.
Aw.
um and another thing that really kind of resonated with me was I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days into the charity streams, and I got a raid from someone who was also like frequently did giveaways. And normally, like when I was first started streaming, I was like, I don't want to be a giveaway streamer because sometimes people just they're there for the GP or whatever they get, and then they leave.
Yeah.
But something that was really reassuring was there was like a group of maybe 5 or 6 dudes who came in from one raid, and they're like, dude, like, oh man, I love your energy, like you're so positive, and you're very wholesome streamer, like I want to stay here, right? Like I don't
Aw.
care about the GP that you're giving away, like you're actually a really cool guy. So that kind of stuff, like it made me feel really really good. And just like the connections that I was able to build with people as well, like other streamers were getting in on it as well. People were contributing to the charity. People were coming in just to follow and be like, hey, like keep it up, that's a really good cool thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it did actually build up the stream a little bit too, which wasn't the primary goal, of course. Obviously the primary goal was to raise money for charity, but that was definitely like a secondary benefit to it. And
For sure.
it was something that made me feel really good because I felt a lot less isolated. I mean, with the whole pandemic going on too, right? It's like you're not able to socialize or interact with people the same way. So online interactions have become a more prevalent thing these days, right? And it allowed me to meet new people too, and people that I'm talking to, like you, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I might have met you from Oxie's raid when I became an affiliate, but either way,
I
like
think so.
it's just interactions like that. And now I'm hanging out on Discord with dudes I never would have met if I wasn't streaming, right? And you guys are all chill. It's really cool.
Feel
So
the same way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like honestly the primary highlight of that would be just like feeling connected to people, but also feeling like I was actually genuinely making people's days, or like just actually making people feel like they're included in a community, or just exuding positivity as well, which is kind of the main goal of that whole thing too.
Kind of walk away with, well, like a sense of community that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
And some of, a lot of that is able to go with you until the next one, and then the next one. And it's like, it just keeps building.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Like coming in and just participating when I could with
In the
the
marbles.
marbles and the marbles. Yeah, never won, but it's still a lot of fun.
I was gonna ask, did you yoink any GP from me, or
I didn't. I don't think I did.
I think there's
A
one
lot of
guy
the
who won
times I
like
was at
3
work.
bonds.
Really?
Yeah. There's one guy
got a
who
lucky
kept
marble.
finding me in the hide and seek, and he kept winning bonds. Oxie, I think, stole like 2
Oh.
bonds from me as well.
That's awesome. Hey, that's a good way to get them.
Oh, it was a lot of
Um,
fun though.
Was there any like the charity that you chose? How was that an impact on how you were conducting the charity event? What was the charity that you chose?
St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
And
I actually,
what was the idea behind that?
I mainly chose it because I know that there were some other larger scale RuneScape streamers. For example, Foe did a charity stream for them, and they supported children in like basically children who have cancer and supporting cancer research. And they also have a St. Jude's like let's play like sector, which basically is like I guess they have like I don't know, I guess like a program where they allow kids to like game together and play together, play video games and stuff, which is cool. And I actually didn't know about that until after the charity. Like I thought it was just for cancer research, but they also have like a whole program where they have kids who like they game together, right? And it brings them together. And gaming actually does bring people together. That's what I love about it. And I don't know, just that whole premise behind just like knowing that these kids are unwell or they had to spend the holidays in the hospital, right, receiving treatment. Some of them probably away from their families, right? It's like heartbreaking. That makes me feel really sad. So I thought, I want to do something good. Like I want to do something good with the stream. I've been slowly building up a community. Let's see where we can take this. I didn't expect it to go to like, I think we raised $1,060 US, right? That's including that was including all the revenue from Twitch. So any there's a big supporters coming in as well. I think I matched $100 plus 50 cents per new follower from that duration. I think there's like another $100 from that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. And I posted a tweet about it and they actually responded to it, which was cool. I'd like to do something like that in the future. I mean, obviously, being a smaller streamer, I think it's still great. Like I was able to do something so big that I never would have imagined doing. Right? I had a goal of like $100. I was like, let's see if we can make $100. It's like 10 times that. I was like, wow. Yeah. I honestly, dude, I got emotional in some of those streams too because the support coming in was just unreal. Like it made me feel really happy that I was like, as a community we're banding together to help these kids. Like it's a really, really good feeling. Yeah,
that kind of segues into the next thing I want to ask is like, how were you as a person impacted? Like looking back at that event, what have you gotten to reflect on?
I would say like this is gonna sound a little bit grim, but in a world where there's so much chaos going on, it's good to be able to foster a community of like positivity, Start doing something that instead of, contributing or adding to negative energy that's all around us, right? Just doing something that has an impact. And people notice that stuff. Like people feel good when positive energy is exuded from someone, right?
Yeah.
So that to me, it also helped me see like I'm actually a pretty negative person overall. Like I'm not like Debbie Downer all the time, but like I will often see things from the negative perspective first before considering the positive, right? It's like, oh, the weather sucks today, like I can't do anything, stuff like that. That's usually my first thing instead of, oh, like it's a nice day to just like sit inside, crack open a book, like have a hot chocolate or something, right? So for me personally, like I think it kind of contributed to a bit of growth over the holidays as well, thinking like, okay, everyone's away from each other because of COVID, but like we're still connected. We can still connect with people, right? Just being kind to people too. Like I don't know, it has a lot of positive impact on your own well-being too. Like even
carry that just carry that on through the rest of your time, the rest of those weeks and months, because like seasonal depression is a real thing. And I know that like the winter months are kind of hard for me personally, so anything that lifts that positive spirit is truly amazing.
I feel that 100%. Like I've been experiencing a bit of that as well lately, just on and off. But that definitely, those streams definitely lift my mood. I think it helps lift other people's moods too, and if it did, that's amazing. And I'm happy that made other people feel good too. And that's pretty much, it was like very good experience overall. I really enjoyed doing that. I really did. It was actually kind of just like an idea I had on the whim as well. Like I was like, I should do something like this. I think it would be fun. I think it'd be a good thing to do.
It worked out.
Yeah, and it ended like right before or right on Boxing Day, so like right after Christmas Day. So it was kind of like it kind of worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah. Speaking of like looking into the future and different things, like do you have any goals for 2021? Professionally, personally, in like in
Oh
the
yeah.
game?
And personally, because of gyms closing and stuff due to COVID, I've been very off my exercise schedule. Like I've been exercising almost daily, but I'm not to the degree that I was before. And
Yeah.
so I want to get back into that. So that's why I've introduced things like the channel port rewards for
Yeah,
exercise.
I was gonna say.
I mean, it's a good thing to get into while gaming too, right? It promotes like, you know, healthy gaming as well.
Dude, just put them on sale.
Yeah.
Put those ones on sale, dude. 50% off.
Just
You'll
go
get your exercise.
Fitness Friday, and it's like,
Yes.
oh man, I would do like 250 push-ups in one stream. I realized after that, like I really need to work on my strength again because I lost a lot. But yeah, I guess that's a personal goal, just getting more in shape again, building up that fitness again. I want to get better at like cooking in general. Like I've been over this past year, I've actually done more cooking than I ever had before, and I've been doing a lot with my girlfriend as well. Like just been making meals together all the time, and I've been making a lot more meals all on my own as well. And that's something I kind of want to like just get better at doing, I guess, is just being able to cook better. And I don't know if that's like really a thing, but just
I mean,
like
yeah,
knowing
like-
what to use or how to mix certain spices together to get a good
Yeah.
flavor in there and stuff. Like
If your staple meal is like peanut butter and jelly and mac and cheese, then there's room for improvement.
yeah.
That's what I get. That's what I bring to the table here.
Oh man.
Are you gonna max this year?
Man, that was one of my goals, but I thought like, is that possible? I'm trying to think of the time, like, okay, so I mean, being discreet here, I mean, everyone who works from home does AFK stuff while they're working. Yeah. If I can do most of the AFK stuff while I'm working, and then the non-AFK stuff afterwards, if I'm streaming or just like playing in my off time, I think maxing is a possibility, or at least getting very close to it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to
You're
get
almost 2100, right?
yeah.
So
I think I'm
that's-
2096 right now. Like, and most of those skills are like, I think my biggest mountain is probably going to be agility, which is kind of funny because it's one of my favorite skills.
Is it nice?
Yeah, I like Slayer, of course. I feel like that's a generic answer, but agility is my close second, I'd say. If we're excluding Slayer, agility is like my favorite actual skill.
I've
Slayer is
never
more
heard
just
anybody say
combat.
that.
But,
What about agility though? What makes you say it's your favorite?
I think it's just because like the way I am with games in general is I like achievement and like progressing through things where it's like you get unlocks like every so many levels, right? With agility, like you're always unlocking shortcuts for different things. I mean, they save you like 5 seconds depending on what they are, right? And you're spending like 80 hours grinding out 20 levels. But I mean, the point behind it is like that progression through the thing and the versatility of the skill, right? Like run energy restore is better. Certain activities are easier to do, I think. I'm trying to think of an example, but I don't know.
I mean, Hydra has a shortcut.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah, actually, I need that Hydra shortcut, by the way. I think I'm like 5 levels away from it, but yeah, it's actually, I like the skill because of all the different places you can train it as well. I typically just use rooftops, but I've actually really liked the Prif course because it's just the Prif Dennis, if I'm even saying that correctly. That city is just really well designed. Like I just love the whole crystal theme, or the crystalline theme of that place. And like just climbing the treetops and stuff is really cool, but it's still a rooftop course essentially. But I mean, it's cool. I like the concept. I like agility.
I like that the Prifdinus has a timer that you're
Yeah.
trying to beat your best every lap, and waiting for that perfect portal to take you to get your PB. My PB is a minute 7.
Oh yeah, I think mine is a minute 4. But the best possible time you can get, I don't think you get anything lower than this, is a minute 3. And I think you have to be, I think you have to be perfect though. Like you have to be tick perfect on every single click. You can't miss a single like millisecond. Because it
I'm
rounds
convinced that
up, I think. It rounds up. So it has to be technically below 3 seconds from the minute.
crazy.
If you have a
I'm
precise timer, I
convinced.
think it'll show you, but
I'm convinced that the person who got the PB just got like a game glitch where there was 2 portals.
honestly, I
'Cause
don't know.
I've got a minute 7. I'm like, that was extremely fast. I got great portals, great
Yeah.
clicks. So I can't beat it.
No,
crazy.
I haven't even been able to match it since. I might have gotten something where it's just like, oh, maybe the game loaded faster for this run. Like, I don't even know. But I can't match it. I think the best I've gotten since was like a minute 6, minute 7. Like, exactly. Like, I feel like those are the average times for PPs.
But that's what keeps you going to 99, right? That's
Exactly.
What keeps you...
Exactly.
One day you'll hit it.
Exactly. And it's also just like the skill itself is just really chill to do. I don't know. I find it cozy. Like, you open up a stream or a movie or something or some YouTube videos and just it's pretty mindless unless you're doing alk agility, which I don't really do anymore. But yeah, no, it's I like it. I like the skill a lot. A lot of people don't. A lot of people hate agility because it's just such a long skill or long grind. It's a very takes a long time to go. I mean, people hate RC, but then when they introduce Blood Rune Crafting, like, oh, this is chill, like, But I find the same thing with agility, like, it's chill. I don't find it. Sepulchre's a different story, but I haven't gotten there yet. So
Are you gonna go there?
maybe at 92, but I feel like it's more of a, if I'm actually ready to game kind of thing. Doesn't become comfy anymore.
I think once I get to the Arty course, I'll feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Still way off that.
Yeah, I don't plan on starting Sepulchre till 92, so I still got a lot of rooftops to go.
So I wanted to transition to a little bit of a more broad question of like, you have your voice, and that's probably a lot of what people's first impression.
Yes.
What people notice about you first.
Yeah.
But was there anything else that, like, if you could take away the voice, what would be something that you would want people to notice about you first?
I mean, considering the voice, a lot of people find it intimidating at first. And I feel like sometimes people can't see past that, and they don't actually know that I'm a pretty, like, gentle person. Like, I'm a very kind person as well. Like, I like to be very wholesome in communities as well. I don't like... I'm actually terrible at banter, because I really don't do it at all. So when people banter with me, I'm like, are you joking? Or, like, I don't even know. And, like, I don't know what to respond with sometimes. I'm like, my banter sucks. But I guess that would be the first thing I would want people to notice is, like, this guy's just a nice dude. Like, he's not trying to, be a certain person or, trying to get something from somebody else or whatever. Like, I don't know. I like people to see me for just being this regular dude who's chill, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back and remember if I thought you were intimidating. I can't remember. But I mean, your voice was obviously the first thing that I noticed. But then, as I've gotten to know you, you're a genuinely good person.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You're younger than I thought. You said you're born in 97.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. Like, I think the voice adds years.
Oh yeah,
But,
for sure. People think I'm like 50 on the phone. It's hilarious.
The voice in your beard too.
I didn't have this beard before COVID. It was much shorter, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was probably about as short as your beard right now.
Dang, man.
Yeah. I usually keep it pretty tight, but I was like, I'm working from home, whatever. We'll see how far we can take this thing.
So our podcast is named XP Waste, obviously. And one question we like to ask everybody. You're obviously our first interview, so this will be the first time we're asking.
Ooh, I'm on the hot seat.
What is your favorite form of XP waste?
Honestly,
And in that, I just mean hobbies, anything outside of the game.
Honestly, I really enjoy going for hikes and just like nature walks. I feel like just like I went out today too to a conservation area, and it's just beautiful. Like, the weather was super nice, and it just makes me feel really at peace. I don't know. It's one of those things I really love to just decompress that way. I don't think about anything else. Like, I'm not like, I'm missing out on XP by going outside. It's like, that actually, it makes me feel really good. It makes me feel regenerated for, like, any other activity that I end up doing, right? I also really like cooking, but like I said, I want to get better at it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's I don't know, I'm trying to think, like I don't even have that many hobbies really, because like I'm just so busy with things. But definitely one of the things I like to do to just escape is go outside, like a bike ride, even go for a walk, go on a hike,
A walk.
go for a
Nice.
drive, even like with the windows down.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate you being on. Did you have any final words for the viewers, listeners?
Honestly, keep it up. This is fantastic. I like the XP Waste podcast idea. I've been watching the past couple, and they're really good. They're nice, like chill thing to listen to. And yeah, if you guys want to check out my stream, shameless plug. There you go.
No shame. I'm gonna put it in the description. Check out his. We'll have his Twitch handle obviously there. Do you want us to link your YouTube series? I know we talked about
I
it.
actually unlisted all those videos because I wasn't sure. Like, I might actually start a new series at some point. So
Ooh,
maybe
so maybe go subscribe to Matthis on YouTube.
maybe. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to plug?
Honestly, Discord or Twitter, but you can find those through my stream link as well.
Cool. I mean, we could put him in the description if you'd like, but otherwise, check him out on Twitch. Matthis, I appreciate you being here, man.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Alright, take it easy.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I know that we did.
Always glad to have Matthis on the show. Yeah, I say always glad to have Matthis on the show. He's our first person we've interviewed, and I'm glad we did.
So we have a fun topic.
Of course, we have a fun
topic. At the end
topic.
of the show, we always like to talk about something fun. So hit us with it.
So it feels a little derivative of the question we asked a couple weeks ago, but if you could have any profession in this whole game, you could work anywhere, you could do anything. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm cutting magic logs for 200K an hour. I mean, like, what profession, what like solidified profession in RuneScape, in old school RuneScape, would you have? Where would it be? And why do you want that job?
So I think I would live out my real life fantasy of wanting to be able to like blacksmith and do leather work. And I would have like 99 smithing and 99 crafting in RuneScape as like just a normal person.
You're a master craftsman, Yeah. Like the skills in RuneScape are real skills, like crafting and smithing. I'm sure someone knows how to make really intricate sword stuff. I'm sure there's like a History Channel show about it, but like,
like I would be a blacksmith and I'd be a leather worker, because those are things that and I have this idea of what I want like when I retire, and it's like I just want to own a workshop where I can do things with my hands, like woodworking, leatherworking, all that kind of fun stuff. And I think I would want to do that in RuneScape. And I would want to do it in Lumbridge because it's a fun, like it's nostalgic for me. It's a fun city. It's quaint, and you already have kind of that little like blacksmith shop set up with the rusty anvil. So that would be me.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. You'd be the grizzled old man who like helps everyone make their first like really bad bronze sword. Then someone's like, "You're not a good blacksmith," and you just like forge a blade of Saldor like right there. Like you're the only one who can corrupt a blade outside of Prifddinas, and you're like,
yeah,
am I a bad smith? And just pull out a red lightsaber in front of me. Like,
it would be fun to take over for the guy, like the smithing tutor on Tutorial Island. Like eventually that's your job. Like you just take over for him. He retires. You're up there next. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be so cute.
Their first like bronze dagger.
Make your first little butter knife. Like no one has to know the history you've had of like all these great weapons you've forged. Like,
yes,
let me repair your 1,000-year-old Barrow's armor like that. Like, no one needs to know. That's awesome. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm so bad with working with my hands. I don't think I'd be good with that though. But I'm telling you what I'm not bad at. It's cooking. This one's a bit of a stretch because I kind of just want to monopolize Hasidius. I want to own a tavern and the winery there. Ooh. So in my home state in Michigan, wineries are huge. If you go like north of this line on your hand, there's wineries everywhere in the state.
Ooh.
So I've always loved going to wineries, and I used to make wine for a little while at a little winery in my hometown. And it's fun. And I also love cooking and creating food. I hate customers, but I love every other part of like, I don't know, you're talking about like dream job or whatever. I think like, having like my own little place. And I'm choosing Hasidius because you got a lot of people, you got a lot of foot
Mhm.
traffic between the citizens of Karend and the soldiers who need to eat, you
Mhm.
know. Maybe even the dwarves will come down. I doubt the people in Arceus eat anything ever.
Probably not.
You have access to a ton of fresh crops. You have your own winery. You have
Mm.
access to fish and livestock all over Hasidius and in Piscatoris. So like that seems like the ideal place to make like,
Yeah.
I don't mean like a kitschy like fresh market. I mean like just like good food that is born and raised and grown wherever, like in your region, like local made, whatever.
I
That's
think they call
always
that I think they call that farm to table.
farmed it. Sure. It still sounds a little hipstery for me, but like, you know, I would just really like to make good quality food for people.
Yeah. That'd be
And if I
fun.
couldn't do that, I'd be an Ardoin zookeeper because that's another one of my old person dreams is to retire and like be one of the volunteers at the Detroit Zoo.
Oh, that's fun.
They're so much fun. They're all over the age of 65. None of them are paid. And all they do is sit there and nerd out about animals all day long. It's great. They love talking to people about these
That's
animals.
awesome.
You got a woman sitting in front of the penguins for 8 hours a day, naming this day. She loves it. And she's not even getting paid. I want to be that person. And Ardoyan's the only place to do that in RuneScape. So if I'm not owning my own super successful farm to table winery tavern thing, I want to be an Ardoyan zookeeper. But yeah, that's my dream job in RuneScape. A little bit of a shorter, fun topic today for sure.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to listen and watch at the same time and you're only listening right now, check the description because I'll have the YouTube video linked there.
Oh my God. What an amazing plug.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you're watching us and you want to take us on the road,
If you're
I'll
sick
have
of seeing our faces
if you're
and our
sick of seeing our
ridiculous hand
faces,
motions, we're on Spotify and Apple Music.
I'll put both of those in the description on YouTube.
King. Absolute king. Perfect.
Yeah, it's full circle, Oxy. It's full circle. That being said, we did want to throw it out to you, the listeners, specifically. Sorry, YouTube. If you're on Apple Podcast right now, we have a request. So Apple does this weird thing where if you type in a keyword, they only really show you podcasts that have been rated. If you have no ratings, you're bottom of the list. So if you can, take a couple seconds and just drop a rating, 5 stars. If you leave us a review, we've asked that you put your favorite video game memory in the review. And once we start to get some reviews, we'll end up reading those here on the podcast for you. So again, just if you have a second, leave a review, Apple Podcast. I've tried to see if any other podcasting services do reviews, but it seems that it's just Apple. So that's a request for you listeners. And YouTube, if you can just like, comment, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, we appreciate it. Chef's kiss.
All right, Michael, really quick. You got 15 seconds to answer. What's your favorite video game memory?
Halo 2. Playing with my brother and my best friend, where one TV was in the other room, one TV was in this room, and we linked our Xboxes via Ethernet cable so that we could play multiplayer without screen peeking. And we would always, like, anytime we went to my friend's house to spend the night, we would bring our Xbox, and my mom would be like, "Why do you need that?" It's like, "Mom, duh. How are we gonna play Halo 2?"
Oh my God.
And then at my church, we had a weekly youth group thing, and we would also play Halo there. But they had it really cool, so where they had 2 TVs that were like facing away from each other, And we also did the same thing where you had like 4 people on this side, 4 people on that side, and you had a 4-on-4 battle in Halo 2.
Oh, that's
Absolute favorite
awesome.
memories.
That'd be so cool. I'm taking mine from more of this perspective of like favorite moment in a game. That's like one of my absolute
Oh.
favorite. Funny enough, it's also from Halo.
Wow. It's like we
Halo,
were meant to do this
I want
podcast.
like a 117 tattoo somewhere on my body. I love Halo. My favorite moment from like one of my probably my favorite game mission of all time, Halo 3, The Covenant. That mission where you take the Scorpion through the very last part. The little transition scene says Journey's End. You tear everything up in the Scorpion, and then you're very ready. You're like ready to go kill the Prophet of Truth, and then 2 scarabs drop down. You have to fight 2 scarabs at the same time. That is my favorite Halo moment. That's one of my favorite video game moments ever. I've had a lot of other really exciting moments, like recently when I beat the champion in Pokemon Shield was oddly adrenaline rushing for like I was like 23 and it was like both of our Pokemon were one shot, and if the attack I was going for missed, I was fucked. And I landed it and beat the champion with like 6 HP left on my last Pokemon. So that was really exciting. But like, yeah, I think the 2 scarabs on the Covenant top it all for me.
You can relive that, which is great. I can't relive my favorite memory.
Wow. Way to just really kill the mood. I'm so glad you could enjoy the time you had as a child, but me, those days are long gone.
Not how I meant to say that, but it just came out so wrong.
If any of Michael's old church friends are watching, add him on Steam and play Master Chief Collection. He seems a little distraught.